Welcome to the Princess Power Hour, where we show you how to go from pauper to powerful by transforming your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Here's the princess of podcasting herself, Natalie Thomas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We have a fabulous guest, as usual, but this one is extra special. And we are going to be talking to Stephen Hercy about the yin and yang of conscious strength training. Now, what I love about him is he has been doing this for over 50 years. But before we talk about that, I'm going to tell you about my lip color of the day. This is caramel apple diamond. And not only is it pretty, and not only are diamonds a woman's best friend, and this actually has diamond dust in it, the amazing thing about this lip color is that it is kiss-proof, it is smudge-proof, and it will last 4 to 18 hours. Now, you can go over to www.lipstickkissesandlove.com, pick out a color. While you're there, you want to grab a gloss because the gloss is the secret sauce. We apply 3 light coats of our color, a coat of gloss, and this stuff stays on just about all day long. So we want to welcome Stephen today. Thank you for joining us.
It's fabulous being here. You're a wonderful host. I see still have your feminine charms about you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, the little, from a male point of view, I can see the little girl in you. And
I appreciate
ask me questions. They're very cool.
Oh, well, thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. You know, I think that the Bible says to be like a little child, and I have just embraced that. And do you know, I was a grandmother before I even started really in business.
Wow.
And then was able to start a multi-million-dollar business. And I have just decided that I'm old enough now that we should have fun at what we do. And I can imagine that since you have chosen to do what you do for over 50 years, that you must enjoy it.
It's a passion,
well,
even in my sleep.
In your sleep? Well, you're going to have to tell us how you do that.
Yeah, and I will be able to give you an example of what that looks like.
Well, let me read everybody your bio, and then
Sure.
we'll jump into that. And you have an exceptional story about how you got started, too. So when I'm done with the bio, I want to hear this story about how you got started, and then tell us about how you do this in your sleep. So I try to teach people how to make money in their sleep, but this is going to be interesting. So everybody, Stephen Hercy, aka Dr. Fitness USA, which is how I came to know him. Like, I was surprised today when I realized you even had a name, Stephen. That's embarrassing, but I was so locked into Dr. Fitness USA. That is just so, fabulous. So he is an international body designer. He's an owner and founder of the International Institute of Body Design. He's the #1 best-selling author, holds the prestigious title, and I probably cannot pronounce this perfectly, but is Professor D. Culture Physique Welder. All right, so do you want to pronounce that for us properly?
Culture Physique Weeder, yes.
Oh, well,
You were pretty close. That's good.
That's much better. And I thought it had a great French accent to it. So there we go. So he's the creator of the Body Design Formula Strength Training Protocol and a recognized professional empowerment speaker as a pioneer for his successful work with pain management and postural realignment, which affects mood, behavior, and productivity. Now, this is so important, folks. Dr. Fitness USA is a leading authority in bringing his revolutionary strength training systems to addiction and recovery community as a new tool for mood and behavior stabilization and strength management, and is the first person in the world to provide strength training programs for women suffering from endometriosis. Now, I'm still going on with the bio, but folks, that interests me. I suffered from endometriosis for many years, and if somebody had told me I could do strength training and get rid of all that pain and problems, that would have been amazing. So Dr. Fitness USA has worked with all types of people, from celebrities such as Linda Gray, Sally Fields, Simon Cranes, Billy West, medical professionals, as well as alternative health practitioners. Young and older people of all walks of life worldwide travel to Los Angeles seeking his unique services as his groundbreaking body design formula strength training system assists men and women alike to get 20 to 50% stronger in 20 minutes, look and feel 15 years younger, and achieve a pain-free life. Man, that's really amazing. Congratulations for having built such a beautiful life and having helped so many people.
Thank you. Thank you. So the question is, the audience is probably saying, no way, he hasn't been working with for 50 years. So
that was my first thought when I saw your picture.
Well, how old am I today? Well, January 1st, I turned 70.
That is absolutely amazing. You look fabulous. I would never, ever would have guessed 70. Now, I'm 56, excuse me, I take that back. I will be 56 in June. I got a little ways to go.
Okay.
But sometimes I sit and go, ooh, I'm closer to 60 than I am to 50. You know? But you look amazing.
Thank you. And I take no testosterone pills. I don't have any testosterone injections. I'm totally authentically natural.
That's awesome. So you look good. I'm guessing you feel good.
Well, about what I'm about to discuss is how I maintain that feel good attitude, because there's ups and downs in life, and each one can throw a curve. So how do I overcome the stresses that happen magically out of nowhere?
Okay.
And how it affects my relationship or the people that I come in contact with, and how I view women and what their protocol is to take care of their body that's sustainable for the rest of their life.
Oh, we've got to talk about all that, but we've got to start with how you started, because I know it was a long time ago and you got interested in something, and it was because of a reason some of us can relate to and remember that far back. And tell us about it.
Well, I was born into a Jewish family. I had a Jewish mother, a Jewish father who knew nothing about exercise and had no desire about exercise. And she was a stay-at-home mom. And I had 5 sisters.
Oh, my.
Which was a crisis in itself. And so I would pick up magazines and, I'd look at pictures of Charles Atlas and showing sand being kicked in the kid's face. And I had, from a very early age, a natural desire to understand that having muscles on my body might be a cool thing. I wanted to be more masked, even though I was brought up in a feminine environment where my mother was always asking me how I feel, which didn't prepare me for life rather than how I think. I was a pretty feminine type of kid, but with a strong desire to take action so that I put some muscles on my body and create a more manly type of environment as I rolled along in life.
Smart man.
There's all sorts of obstacles and things like that. I'd start off with, doing push-ups and chin-ups and things like that. And then I built in my basement a little gym. And then I had an uncle that bought me these springs for a birthday present. So, I was pretty much like those comical kids trying to improve my body. And then my father wouldn't hear anything about it. So my mother bought me a membership to a gym, and it was like a family fitness. And what's ensued was I would see that over the course of 30 days, all these people would disappear, and there would be Shmuel Rubin still in the gym pumping iron. And it stayed with me for years and years and years. I found the journey very, very fascinating. That every year I would meet somebody that I know, and they would say, wow, you look really great. Don't get any bigger. Okay. 2 years later, I could become more grown up, and they say, oh, you look great. Don't get any bigger. It's always been like that.
I'm laughing. I'm saying that to my son. He looks fabulous. He's got huge muscles. He likes to work out. about 2 hours a day, I would say 5 to 6 days a week. And he is now trying to drink a gallon of milk a day because he wants to gain 20 pounds. He's like 188, maybe.
Of course, the milk that he's drinking will probably produce a fat body. I wouldn't be drinking that milk if I was him.
Well, I'm trying to talk him out of it. And I keep telling him, you look fabulous. Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. And he's 28 years old. So you have to learn to shut up and let people make their choices.
Sure.
But as a mom, we can't just, keep our mouth shut sometimes. When somebody looks fabulous, why do they want to be bigger? I don't get it.
You're cool. You got the whole idea.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So people were saying that to you, but were you listening or were you not listening?
No, I didn't listen. I kept on going. As the strength actually comes in pretty handy. It's not to defend myself, but to keep my emotions steady, to make better decisions, to conquer the fears that I had.
Now, our listeners are
everybody
not going to understand that. You've got to expand on that. How does working out, and I do know a little bit, but some people aren't going to know. So how does that make your emotions steadier and make you make better decisions?
Wow, you ask a really great question so early in the interview. Okay, so in a female and left-handed man, there's a small connective tissue between left and right side of the brain. And so it allows, especially women, to be able to transmit their thoughts and their feelings simultaneously. When you're talking about a right-handed male, which I am, I have a very small brain passage, so I have to either be in my thought process or my feeling side. Okay, so it all depends. All movement in the body is caused by your emotions. So if we take a woman today and she's actualized in her mind, body, and spirit, there's two ways women protect themselves. They either overreact to situations that come up automatically and think about it afterwards, or they actually go up in their head like men used to be and are unmovable. So when we look at strength, if the woman, let's ideal situation, woman is 100% strong. Now she's only in time, and it could happen earlier, now she's only 30% strong. So she says, well, I'm a really strong woman. Yeah, you're intellectually strong, but your body is weak. You cannot handle the current or the type of electricity that's going through your body. It's kind of like you have a toaster, you plug it in, you put an air conditioning in, but the circuit breaker can't handle all that data.
Oh, that is such a good point. I can relate to that. I have people, men, that think it's funny to startle me. And they don't understand that it literally drives an electrical shock all the way through my body that is physically painful.
So the question.
Go ahead.
So the question is, would you say stop, or would you say that makes me feel very uncomfortable, or you're still in a state of shock?
Well, one of it was a very foolish employee, and I think it was my birthday, and that kind of thing. And when it comes to an employee, I will definitely say stop. Yeah. And I will tell them why.
So the strength is very important, especially for women, because as I said, as they go on in time, when I interview women, they're down about 30% in their physical body strength, which is really dangerous. First physically and then emotionally, it means that they're probably very unstable and their relationship is rock and rolling up and down like a roller coaster, and they're killing men. Because the men right now, the women have become so strong that the men now are really weak.
This is true. And this is one of the things I really love to address on the show, because I really want to make women aware of that. I want to warn them off of that because it damages the polarity of the sexual attraction in their relationships.
You got it. You have a little bit, it's going a little off, but you have where there's sexual harassment and things like that. But the way it's demonstrated is if you look at a Hallmark movie, when somebody meets somebody at work or in a situation, they can have a budding romance. Today, it's sensationalized that men, especially men, are afraid to even say hello to a woman. So that's unhealthy. So there's a medium between all of it. So I have what they call relationship self-defense school, which teaches women how to get a better deal and to stop all that type of things that are going on to their benefit.
Oh, wow. I like that.
And the strength training helps them. In order to accomplish that, they need to up their game by increasing their strength in their body. So it helps them to feel very empowered and comfortable. So a lot of times women are strong and they don't want, there's that thing, they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. The only thing we care about in this interview is your feelings. Women are not responsible for men's feelings. We have a feminine side. So here, let me lead into cut, and then you can ask me questions about the strength training. Mm-hmm. So now, as I'm power speaking, I ask women. I could say it to men: do men steal women's youth? They steal it. They steal it every single second of the day. As soon as most men, when they find out that you're a smart woman. You will be doing everything because we have a feminine side and we know how to use it. And we're going to let you go until you drop.
You are the first man I have ever heard say that or admit that. And
that's true.
I would absolutely have to agree with you. And I'm going to throw it out here for our viewers. Women are stupid and need to wake up and stop doing everything because men want to give to you. Let them.
You got it.
High five.
High five. You know why men, when you let men give to you, okay, look, the way men track women is by the outside of work, is by the feelings that you express so they know how to gauge themselves. And when they give you gifts, that's how they track you also, because in a man's logical mind, he thinks you owe him. That makes sense.
Really? Yeah.
So the more men spend on you or do for you, the more they fall in love with you.
Really? Oh, yeah. I have to write that down. Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Like sometimes when I'm having an argument with, let's say, Batista, okay, what happens is I'll go into my feminine and try to make her feel guilty.
Okay.
But she's learned she's not responsible for her feelings. So no matter what temperament I had, she'll go eat, go back to work, pay total indifference to me. Mm-hmm. It's like nothing happened. And so as soon as we men have a little space, we think about our actions. And I'm thinking in my mind, if I keep this behavior up, she's really going to make me pay. So I
hate that men think in terms of that and make them pay, but
so what happens? Well, if they pay me pain, they're going to cause me pain. So what happens is I'll go in the room and I say, I know how I can make it up to you. So in her mind, she hears gift.
Really?
Yeah.
So you must be a good giver.
Yeah, I don't say I'm right or wrong or whatever it is. I know how to make it up to you, even though I didn't do anything consequently. But it works all the time.
First disagreement my husband and I ever had when we were dating. He had done something at work that I had known was a bad idea, and he got a consequence for it. Okay. And so it wasn't between he and I directly, but it's still, there was an effect. And I said, I'm really mad at you. And he calls me Mama, and he says, which is short for Mamacita. And he says, Mama, what do I have to do for you to not be mad at me? Well, that man melted my heart like you would never believe. Now, I am very privileged to have this amazingly masculine husband, even though he's only 5'1". Okay. Now, my prior husband was a bodybuilder. On the outside, he looked very masculine. He was really a very insecure human being. Because of the insecurity, there was some abuse involved. But exactly what you were saying before, so I can relate to both sides of this conversation. A taker like you would not believe. I wanted to be pleasing to him. So I did so much to try to win that approval, which I never got, by the way. Okay. But
I can tell you how to get it really fast.
Oh, tell me. Not that I need it anymore, but tell me. Our listeners probably need it.
Well, okay, let's put things in because you wanted me to put it in a way that a general person might understand what we're really talking about.
Oh, yes.
So, when a person hears about, or when somebody comes to be interviewed by myself, they hear about exercise. Okay. Now, exercise is a very general term, but wherever a person is, that's what they think exercise is. In other words, if they're doing yoga, it's yoga. If they're doing CrossFit, okay. If they're doing swimming, that's it. So they're not understanding that as time, so they don't know what the magic tool is so that they can be 15 to 20 years younger. See, today, the women in the 40s, the 50s, or 60s are still using what we call a flip phone.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Now, the new generation of women is spectacular because they're using the new iPhone or the Note 8 in a Samsung Android phone. See, so there's a separation in the way people are conducting their life. So the women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they're trying, they are working on career, they're working on themselves. And what they don't understand, as time goes on, their hormones are going to change. And the way women get into their older years is by producing more progesterone. They find more thought process things to do. So what happens is they're going to seminars and they're sitting for 3 or 4 days. And the object of the seminar is to teach them how to be a better business person or et cetera, et cetera. And then it's so overwhelming, the intellectual information. Now they have to, they're bent on doing an upsell where they have to call the seminar leader or enter a certain program to digest everything they just learned. But you got to realize for 3 or 4 days, they have not exercised.
Okay.
When they come out of the seminar, they're still not going to be exercising. So just imagine you didn't brush your teeth for a week. What would happen?
Ooh, that's a bad thought.
Yeah, but they don't see it that way. And if you ask them, they say, well, I do yoga or I do this. They don't understand that they have to create quiet time for themselves. And the greatest tool in the world right now in this generation for anti-aging, which is scientifically proven, is strength training. Strength training is what is lifting weights, if you want to think of Arnold. But there's a total ignorance because what happens is when people think of weight training, they think of Arnold. But strength training is a health component that you don't have to be an Arnold. You can just go to a physical place like a gym and be able to, in my system, reverse your age 15 to 20 years without breaking a sweat. It's the fastest and most fun thing that a person can do.
Wait. Okay. I'm going to call you on that one.
We're going
to go to a commercial right here in a second. But when we come back, you're going to tell us how to do this without breaking a sweat. I want to hear this. So we are going to be right back, everybody.
Okay.
We're talking to Stephen Hercy, and we were talking about the yin and yang of conscious strength training. Are you looking for ways to make additional income? Chanceandwater.com has 3 great ways to get up and running fast, making more money. We have a salesperson training school that teaches you all the ins and outs of selling and how to sell the hottest water health products available. We also have a dealer program and an affiliate program, all with different benefits and responsibilities. Go to chanceandwater.com website and look for the dealer tab at the top of the page to find out more about how you can start making money fast. All right, everybody, thank you, Stephen. This is amazing. And you got me, like, how does a person lift weights and not break a sweat?
Okay, let me go back. I bring things up to date. So I go to the okay, 1 second. Okay, am I back?
You are back.
Okay, so I go to the Conscious Expo, right, in Los Angeles. It was just this weekend.
Okay.
You've got 1,000 modalities for healing. So I'm not going to interfere with their business because it's it is professional. It's very, very interesting. All the modalities that are attracting hordes and hordes of women, some men. Now, why are these people all there? They're trying to find a solution so that makes their mind or their body work properly. So they're being fed a lot of things from musical notes in the body to taking this supplement. There's just 1,001 modalities. But the fact is that 90% of the people look like they came out of a garbage can.
Really?
So the funny part is I ran into somebody that's very famous and very together. Mm-hmm. And I tried to talk to her several years ago. Uh-huh. Because I'm looking for influential women that hear the message. I want to be supported by women who have a voice that sees that there's a new paradigm here. So I tried to talk to her, but that wasn't happening.
Okay.
I tried to talk to the husband. That wasn't happening. See, the way I saw the situation is she became so powerful that the husband, even though he's financially okay, became a floor mop.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. I know exactly.
Yeah, he was cleaning up the dishes, doing the floor. Well, the outcome of that is she didn't listen, but he died of a heart attack out of nowhere.
Ooh.
Okay, so I know. He probably died of a heart attack. I think if he did my program, he would have lived. But he died of a heart attack, probably of a broken heart. Women don't know how sensitive men really are. Mm-hmm. You have to make some time for them, and they need to know that you like the way they think and they're appreciated. So what ensued was, it must be a couple of years, she was able to recover as far as rebuilding her business. But from my expert point of view is her body was going through a tremendous change and she was not doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. She might have thought of personal training and things like that. Now I see her 2 years later. I had to ask her because when I go to an exhibition, I wear a big tag and it says Dr. Fitness USA. So people say, hello, Doc. Mm-hmm. I don't wait for people to introduce me. So the ones that are virtual me, they like that. Mm-hmm. And so when I approached her, I had to ask her 4 times what her name was. She had aged actually 20 years.
Oh my goodness. So you knew her in the past, you'd talked to her in the past, but you didn't recognize this famous person because she hadn't taken care of herself over that period of a couple of years.
You got it. She grabbed my name tag and she said, this is me. And I says, who are you? Now, the interesting thing is she says, one moment I'm paying for something, I'll come talk to you. Uh-huh. Because it was kind of like, I think about her from time to time. If this woman would have listened, with her power and her money, she would be 15, 20 years younger. Mm. But now I'm faced with a woman that aged 60 years, and she still has no time to talk to me. She's running to some healer that'll grab her arm to try and get rid of pain in her body, or she's buying some infrared sauna. You see, once the women go in their head, there's this little mouse running around, and you cannot get their attention. Mm. The chemical in the brain is confusing them to what's really going on. Because I have a real story is I have a dentist that's Asian, beautiful, and she was, how do you say that? It doesn't matter. I'm sitting in her chair because I was promoting my book, and I look at her, and I just love her office. She's very handsome, and she's very professional. I look at her face, I say, well, why don't you work out? And she says, what are you talking about? I work out. I says, well, you ought to read my book. So because I could read I read into the hearts and minds of women, and I can have empathy for them, and I have a solution if they'd only listen. So what happened was she read the book, and she came into my office, and we had a conversation. So I told her, do not bring your husband with you. Because there's a whole thing that goes on between couples. You know, they're not really in harmony because there's a difference between where they're at and the way they're thinking. Mm-hmm. So after about 3 or 4 hours of him growling at Batista, because that's who I left the husband with.
Okay.
In a private office, it took about 3 or 4 hours to get her to change her mindset. Okay. So now we took photos, we look at her body, and then I call her on the phone. And this is true, is I explain to women, if you have something to say, say it in 7 minutes. Because don't argue with men. We have testosterone, and we can out-focus you. So she would say, why do I have to come in and look at my photos? Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do that? Okay, great. What I would just continue to say is you need to come in. So at the 7th mark, the magic happens. She says, okay, I'll come in. Now she comes into my office and she says, oh, you're so quiet today. See, I'm the same person that interviewed her in the beginning.
Wow.
So let's go to the end of the story. The end of the story is the husband is fat and out of shape. She's stressed out. She's been hospitalized because she can't stop thinking. She does my program. She stops thinking. And today I show photos of her in a gym and in her office. She even does a testimonial on my website in her office that my program is stronger than medicine. She doesn't look a day over 40. She is actually 58 years old. How do you explain that? She has a completely different body. She's strong.
So a lot of what you're saying here is this working out is creating the hormones in the body that are bringing peace, and it's bringing stability, and it's helping with the emotions. And the reason you can take it to the drug rehabs and stuff is because they need the dopamine and all these other things that make them feel good rather than being depressed and tired. And is that the idea that we're talking about?
Wow, you can come be my spokesperson. You actually got what I was talking about. You see, the system that I promote isn't about performance, because if a woman is doing intellectual, right, and then she goes to a trainer, now the trainer is saying, come on, let's work out, she's doing male twice.
Okay.
My system inside comes from inside out. Women learn never to do anything that feels uncomfortable. See, you can have a textbook exercise correct, but it might not be for you because of the way that your body is built. So you got to know, the analogy here is if you go to an acupuncturist, you would hopefully know where to put the needle in the right meridian to treat whatever they want to do. If they go to a trainer, the trainer gives the women a needle, where's male or female, everywhere. Their business is based on confusion. The more you suffer, the more they're going to make money.
Ooh, that's you don't want to get me on big pharma.
Yeah, but the women need to be more open and do some research. If they wanted a breast augmentation or they wanted something like that, they do some research. We send information to women that empowers them, and they don't even click it on.
Oh,
How do you explain that?
Yeah, I believe that. I can relate to that. I subscribe to so many newsletters, and I can tell you right now, I have 3,741 emails in my inbox. Now, do you think I will ever read all of them? No, they just create stress for me by the fact that they're there. And I daily unsubscribe from all the emails I didn't subscribe to in the first place that people put me on. So,
well, some of the people I talk about where we actually meet them in person and I explain to them so we have a connection, but they still won't research the information. They won't even have a telephone call. So what I'm looking for is powerful women who actually really want to be younger. Because Batista, my wife, so to speak, her background was she was the best flamenco dancer in the world. She's an empowering speaker. She's the role model for women who want to be younger.
And she's beautiful. We talked to her a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, she uses everything that we're talking about on me.
Oh, does she? Oh, very smart.
Oh, my God. But as a man, I'm really thankful she's strong, man. She handles a lot of stuff here.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm actually the feminine one because men create off their feminine side. So
do they?
When I'm developing a program, it's a feminine energy that I'm using. It's like somebody that's painting every day.
Well, and you're creating programs for women, so I can understand the need for that. And you grew up around the sisters. You know, I dated a couple of men, and I was raised by what I now realize were feminine men. I didn't know it at the time. You know, my grandfather was a auto mechanic. You wouldn't think that was feminine, but he was completely submitted to my grandmother, and my father-in-law was completely submitted to his wife and everything. So, you know, I did this way swing over and married, you know, that man that I thought was a very masculine man and didn't quite turn out to be. But there's a benefit in masculine and feminine, and that's where we talk about the yin and the yang in the show title for sure. But a very wise woman told me something that I think is very powerful, and I think you can relate to this. She said that men don't stay with women that they don't feel that they can please. And I'm not even reiterating the exact quote
That's the truth.
perfectly. See, but we as women don't know that. That's why I'm making my mission to tell my girls, because, you know, there's so many things that we don't understand. You know, we don't understand that strength training is not about getting muscles, and that, you know, I genuinely appreciate that my husband takes the trash out. I don't want to do it. I don't like to do it. When my son does it, I'm grateful. But I had to learn that. You know, I wasn't always that way, you know, and it helps, I think.
I think it's great. So I don't know where we're at in time, but if
we're doing great.
Let me bring up something. If there's one thing that your audience gets out of today, that we have strength training programs. That's a $15,000 to $20,000 educational progress that costs less than a laptop computer. There's one for women and there's one for men. So if they wanted to take their life back, that's what they would do. They're geared so they don't need a personal trainer. They can't contact me and have a conversation, but I won't say I'm retired, but I only work on cases that challenge me and the person has a good mindset.
Oh, tell us about mindset. Tell us why that's important.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go slow, and I'll put it in a 3-step process. One is environment. Okay. You have to be in the right shoe store or the right dress shop that you would kind of relate to and say, oh, I love their clothes. So people go into all sorts of environments, but they don't know that it's not for them. Like, let's say you can have a group of women and they're doing exercise in the park. And it looks great. You know, there's this Kamagira, they're working out. No, the person is doing them up this favor, so to speak, okay? There is no exercise in the world that they're doing is going to give them what they're looking for. They're just not educated.
Really?
Okay. Right. Yeah. The second part is somebody could go to a personal training gym. Well, personal training gyms are usually not really well equipped. They have different brands of equipment. Usually they buy used equipment, and they're knockoffs if it's new. So you're in a pair of shoes that either pinch your feet or you slip and slide, but the person is working out. What I recommend is that, and it's in my programming, it shows where to go. So the thing is that brand name gyms like LA Fitness, Gold's Gym, you know, these type of things could be 24 hours fitness, which is more confusing, but these are professional environments. And today it's a little bit different because the strength training is a booming business, especially for baby boomers. It's expanding tremendously. And the new clubs that are going on offer a tremendous variety of different equipment. So you can go in there with some guidance and actually choose the right pair of shoes. So when you exercise, it feels good.
Well, that makes sense. Now, let me ask here. I noticed that you spend a good deal of your day evaluating fitness equipment and evaluating pictures. Now, at first I thought, well, he's been doing this 50 years. Why is he evaluating equipment? But I think what you're saying is if I'm here in Louisville and you're going to help me and you're in LA, you're going to give me advice on the right equipment and how to use it. And you're looking at my body pictures to decide what to suggest. Is that the idea here? Is it that personalized in detail?
Maybe I ought to marry you. You got it right away. All these things
well,
I talk about.
Thank you. I'm married and you have a lovely wife, but thank you.
You know, but everything we talk about, you get you get it. You have to take some pictures of the person's body. You have to look at what gym they're exercising at. It could be male or female before you can make a definite decision. So in the programs that I have, they're educational. They're step-by-step routines that educate a person on what to do. So you've got environment. And before that, you have to have the right mindset. So there's 3 types of people, as you know. One will sabotage whatever you try to do to help them. The other one says, I want help. but I want you to do all the work. And the other one says, what is it you need from me so I can help you move forward? Like I go to a seminar leader and very famous, and the wife is kind of good looking, but you can see she's had cancer. She had an outbreak of cancer from stress. And when I asked them, they say, oh, we both go to a personal trainer. So I try to reason with the husband to have a conversation with me. I try to reason with her by giving her some information or some of my time. And you know what the conclusion is? Oh, we have personal trainers. You understand?
Yep. We don't need
we
you.
have
We've got it
personal trainers.
covered. Well, because they don't understand the difference. Do you want to tell our listeners the difference?
A personal trainer is somebody that could be educated, could be very good in physical education. They can be even successful in their business. Okay, like we'll take somebody that's local. He's in all the newspapers. He's been head of the community. He has a physical exercise place in there, but there's no equipment in there.
Okay.
But the next thing you see him, he's at a real gym taking care of his body. So why is he teaching this type of exercise to women or men that has no ability to give them what they're looking for? You see, when people show up, they'd like to be better looking in their clothes. They'd like to have more energy. They'd like to feel good, okay? So they're taking a tool or entering, they're choosing the wrong doctor because it's never going to happen for them. So the thing that a person comes in, they say, well, what about diet? What about aerobics, core training, stretching? I say, whoa, that's all a myth. Because it's never going to happen for you like that. What you're asking me, Stephen Hercy, is to create the impossible, give you a new body. So I need the right temperament to work with me so that I can spend time creating the answer.
I like that you're creating an answer. So for somebody like my husband, who's a professional jockey, that, you know, he's been riding for 30 years, he's had a broken back, he's had many broken ribs, you wouldn't give him a cookie cutter workout because he has different needs. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So let's go to one more example. I like giving an example. So I go to the seminar, and this couple is just great, you know, especially because the guy's a strong voice, and you know he's a jock. So in talking to him, I find it amazing that he's been married 35 years. But she's skinny like a rake, so she's a candidate for osteoporosis. That's not good. The fact she's 35 years is great. So now I ask him, are you working out? He says, oh, yeah, I work out. Of course, I'm looking at him. I'm thinking he should be working out. So, of course, he's a member of the country club, and he's working out, and he's with his buddies. He doesn't know what his wife's doing. Okay? So I say, okay, listen, because I can see that he's missing half his body. So I say to him, well, what is it that you're doing? Well, what's the first exercise you do when you go to the gym? He says, well, I work my legs. Oh, okay. Well, what do you do when you work your legs? He says, oh, I don't do back squats, you know, where they put a bar in their neck. Okay. And he says, I do front squats. So my answer to him is, why on earth would a man of your age with back issues, neck issues, would ever want to do a front squat, which is making your condition worse? You got to understand, he never talked to me again.
No, see, I would have thought that would have taken him by surprise and gotten his attention.
I know that's the type of person I'm looking for, that asks why or how. When somebody comes to see me, what's a good fit is they say, after me going over what I'm finding, they say, is this reversible? The person that says, how much is it? You know, I went to the dentist and I learned that. She says, oh, you have bone loss. I said, oh my God, can I have it back? She said, no. So when people come to see me, they can't have their body back the way they're thinking. See, men think in the terms of yesteryear. So they remember you, not you personally. They remember you of how you were when they met you.
I'm laughing because when I went back into the dating world, I saw that guys thought of themselves the way they were many years before. I saw that over and over and over, and you could tell that they hadn't updated their data.
There you go.
It was interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so they live in a memory of yesteryear. The thing is that if you have a good relationship or a marriage, your husband, you're totally different people the woman that the man marries 10, 15 years ago is a totally different woman today. She has different needs. She has different desires. She has a different thought process. She's a totally different person. Like when I'm with Batista, my God, we are the most opposite people I have ever seen in my life, except we come together in the training. So we complement each other. But even when I open up the cabin, here, I'll give you one example. Okay, so we're driving along, and she's supposed to stay quiet. She's already given me directions, and she's always stressed out or giving I can't relax when she's in, oh, watch the car. Geez, you went through a stop sign. Oh, she's like on the edge. So now I need to go somewhere, and I have a specific route that I know how to do. She says, no, take this route. And so I curse her, and I'm like hysterical, like the emotions. I need to work out. So what happens, she couldn't live with me if I didn't work out, believe me.
Oh,
so what happens is, do you know today I take that route? It's faster, more fun, more everything, and I wouldn't listen to her before.
Mm-hmm.
I had a smartphone, a little flip phone, okay, like a small talk phone. It was so small and so outdated, I wouldn't change. She calls me to the phone store one day, and she says, oh, I have this phone. It's a great deal. That's how I got the phone. See, men were a creature of habits. Because we have a feminine side, the unknown is very scary to go there. So women need to know how to work around it so that it helps. Like what happened is, oh, you're so handsome. I can see you better in a suit. The opposite is, I know that you were talking to Steven, and I think maybe if you took a little bit of time and had a conversation with him, we might learn something. Mm-hmm. No, they'll go, oh, you're okay the way you are, honey. That guy.
When really what he's thinking is, I don't want to spend any money. She's not really okay, but I don't want to spend any money.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Oh.
So women have to take action. That's the point. The women have to take action. They can't be sitting where they are and hoping for it to change.
Oh,
so my empathy for women is that the strength training in a gym is the way to go.
Okay. I love that.
Like I can ask yourself, you're not supposed to do it, but the thing is, are you a member of a gym?
I am not. And my son got me to join the YMCA when we moved here. Okay. And I was a member for a month. I paid for a second month that I didn't use. I've had many gym memberships. I'm not a great gym person in the first place, but the YMCA just did not ring my bell for sure. My last gym membership was kind of at they would have a band there, and they had a restaurant, and they had it was kind of nice compared to a, YMCA. The YMCA worked for my son, but yeah, nope.
So there's the point of the whole story, because I met a gentleman at this same seminar, and he actually was still in his 40s. He was strong, and it turned out that he actually owned a personal training gym. He was marketing for a personal training gym, and now he's having a conversation with me. And I asked him some questions, and then I said to him, a person could work out once a week for 40 minutes, maximum 3 times a week for 40 minutes, and then go home and just sit and do nothing, and their body's going to change. He said, oh, I like that because I have back pain, I have issues. So he had a conversation with me, came into my office, and I have a video on that. And what's interesting is, what I alerted him to is, why are you in this gym? And it was a professional gym. It's the wrong shoe store. It has nothing to offer him what he's looking for.
Yep. For me, that gym was not a fit.
Well, wait a second. So I'm going somewhere with the story. So now, now I got him into a new gym, and he says, my sister might be interested in your program because we could get a better deal. So now I ask him afterwards, well, what happened to your sister? She said, oh, it didn't work for her. It was too creepy, whatever it is. You see, he didn't say to have a conversation with Steven. He became the expert. Now, I know ahead of time that you'd have to be a Hollywood Yahoo to go to the gym that I sent them to. He's a jock. There's nothing in that gym that she could actually relate to. That was like committing suicide. So people don't get it. You have to ask somebody with my experience, what kind of shoes would actually work for you?
Wow.
So the reason that you didn't go to any of these gyms because you didn't have a plan of action. It was too open-ended, and a YMCA ordinarily isn't a really good place to go.
Well, I have moved to Louisville, Kentucky, so my choices are much more limited than they were when I lived in Orange County. But I totally understand what you're saying. But I will say that when I went to the fancy, expensive one that had everything on the face of the earth, including the restaurant, I got to where I would go, and my goal was to finish the workout so I could go eat, which probably was not the...
Okay, but listen to your conversation without lecturing. You're saying it had everything. You see, that's what you're not aware of. It might not have anything for you. See, people walk into an environment and they say, oh, it's fully equipped. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guy I just talked about. If you look at the website, it's very professional, but I don't see the right pair of shoes. I don't see the right dress. See, what's not understood is when women change shape, they usually are dealing with weight gain.
Yes.
So they say, I'd like to be a little slimmer or fit in my dress. So they're really thinking about weight loss. They don't understand that they have to develop muscles under the tissue so that if they did lose the weight, they would have new shape. And they also need to create new muscles because women have less red blood cells. So when you create more muscle, you create more oxygen in the body. So your body processes the exercise better. And you've got to exercise from your feeling side rather than your masculine side. That's where the yin and yang comes from.
Now, how on earth do you do that?
Hey, listen.
Give us one tip. Come on, one tip.
That's what I do. That's what I do. In 15, 20 minutes, your life would be different. All those things that you experience would not exist because when I'm on the case, I'm working on. You see, when I develop a program, I actually spend 26 hours of intellectual work to figure out the answer to the person's body before I even attempt to introduce it to the person. I also, when I do gym research, like I suggested before, that's a 3-day thing.
That's amazing. I did see that in your form, and I want people to understand 26 hours of effort on his part to help you reshape your body before the first meeting or the second meeting. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. As soon as it's done, the program, one example and follow it. The dentist on my website, you can see her, who's only looking 40. She was diagnosed by 3 orthopedic surgeons to have a media operation on her shoulder. Mm-hmm. She did not do it. She just did my program. She demonstrates that she functions perfectly.
Wow.
I have another woman that's like a Beverly Hills University, and she's wearing fur clothes. She's very elegant, and she had a lump on her wrist, and she said it was very painful because her husband had to carry the purse. So they told her unless she had an operation, it would never get better. It would only get worse. She did my program for 2 days. The lump is gone. Okay, how do you figure that?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it is amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
So I'm going to one more person, if I may. So the last one is 74 years old, cancer survivor, open heart surgery. So she comes to see me, and all she wants is more energy.
Okay.
Wow, more energy. Okay, so of course she's not a good fit for me because she's asking for a new body that's like, wow, am I going to...
Right, she's 74.
Yeah, her body, she's not built really good. She's just solid, okay?
Okay.
But the light bulb goes up in my head, and I'm thinking if Stephen Hercy is on the case, I have a solution for him. See, I have the solution for him. So I go to work, okay? So the upshot of that is she trains at an LA Fitness. She trains better than a pro bodybuilder. I mean, she is so cool.
Really?
Yeah. The thing is, she has the right attitude. There's a video on my website that talks about everything that she's going through disease-wise, where she's monitored by doctors. And the thing is, she's on top of the world because she goes in the gym and she's her own person. She don't listen to anybody. She's very discreet, but she trains like, it's unbelievable. But it didn't just happen right here. So if we took, when you have your legs, they carry your body. Okay. So those are the ones that you got to stimulate the muscles. So there's
Mm-hmm.
many, many different exercises that you can choose from. So the one that women would do is they go in the machine and they do what they call an extension.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, that's an auxiliary exercise. It does nothing for the body.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I've done that stupid thing, and that's why I don't really like going to the gym.
Okay, so there you go.
Don't work. You know,
anyways,
you got that other.
I put her, so how the magic happens, I put her on I'm an ergonomic expert, so I put her on a certain machine where she doesn't have to lift the weight. She just puts a pin in, so it could say 10, 20, 30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we start off like at 30.
Okay.
There's 7 or 8 different things she has to know: where to place her feet, how to place her feet, the descent. You know, she has to know all these adjustments before she can, like, move her legs.
Okay, and at 70.
Now, once she moves her legs, now her brain is saying, oh, this is easy. I can do that. So now we're at 30, and pretty soon we're at 60. Pretty soon wait a second, this is pretty soon at 90 before the day is ended. Okay, now, the next time around, because of the way the program's built, pretty soon now we're at 160.
I've never done 90 in my life. You're at 160 with a 74-year-old?
Yeah. Well, wait a second, it gets better. So anyways, the point is what we don't know is that these selectorized machines, when you get to a certain weight limit, your body won't be able to go any higher.
Well, that makes sense to me.
So we can transfer it to another type of machine where you don't put a pin in, you put a plate on.
Okay.
Okay, when I finished with the women, this is the first time she's never been on it. She's now already at 250. The second time around, she's at 375.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. The dentist on my website, she leg presses 425 once a week. The lady that's 74 years old, she presses 375 once a week. Women don't understand that they have to take some weight in order to process their emotions.
No, I would never dream that. I'm going to write that down.
I know, but as soon as they do it, they're a new person because they start to realize how good it feels. Their mind goes quiet, their body goes quiet, and it sends energy to their upper body. So when they do certain exercise, they're lifting a weight that causes significant difference.
Well, this is amazing. I just wrote that one down. Stephen, we have to wrap up, but You need to tell everybody about your program and how to find you.
Well, the easiest thing is to go to my website, which is the short version, DR Fitness. You have to put USA, drfitnessusa.com. And there's an email address, there's a phone number. If you're hesitant, because it's all new to you, then the logical thing is to leave me a message and say you'd like to, because I offer that to your audience, a 15-minute conversation to actually, the object is to enroll them that their choice of exercise is strength training, and they're not going to figure it out themselves. And they're not going to figure it out when the husband goes to the gym and tries to train her.
That makes sense. Yes.
Well, I just did an interview, and the person says, "Well, I go to a gym and I do 25 minutes for myself, and then I spend 25 minutes to my wife because she'll never go to the gym by herself." And I say, "Well, what exercise do you do?" He says, "Well, I do this leg press I talked about," and I says, "Well, where's her feet? Are they in the middle of the board or top of the board?" He says, "Well, they're in the middle of the board or top because she has knee pain." I said, "Well, that's interesting because her feet are in the wrong place. So why are you the trainer?"
Oh, yeah.
You see, I think you're getting the idea.
Yeah.
Guys will train you like they used to, like how they train themselves where they have errors. Okay, and you should be. I won't say should. The women, the program is set up so it quiets the person's mind. It gives them an idea to go away from business for an hour and have a good time with their body, because that 1 hour exercise can last them 2 or 3 weeks.
That's amazing. Now, your program is a full year program, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a coaching program for a full year, and it's run by Batista. That's the women's program. She also handles the men program also.
And you have a special discount for our listeners. Tell them about that.
I don't know what the discount is. What's the discount?
I'll help you out. It's 10%.
Oh, well, I'll honor any discount that my wife suggested to you. Yeah, 10% is fine.
Well, thank you. So that's for our Princess Power listeners. If you reach out to them, their contact information will be on our webpage at princesspower.com if you're just listening, or it is drusafitness.com. Is that correct?
No, it's Dr. Dr. Fitness, DRFITNESS.com. You have to put USA.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today, Stephen. And this has actually been very amazing, very enlightening. And I can see that I should have pushed past 30 pounds a long time ago. So,
well, we'll talk privately about that. I can give you an idea. I'm never supposed to jump on the host, but I always do that because it's obvious they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, I had no idea. So I've learned a lot, and I hope our listeners have learned a lot. And listeners, if you have found this to be valuable, please like and share the show, and it will help us all to be able to reach more people. And we really appreciate that. And thank you, Stephen, and have a wonderful day.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Right. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Princess Power Hour with Natalie Thomas. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit princesspower.com or on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter at PP Princess Power. Until next time, work smarter, not harder. Have a question for your host of Princess Power Hour, Natalie Thomas? Contact us at www.princesspower.com or tweet us at PP Princess Power.